Groups have expressed concern over the U.S. deportation of dangerous convicted criminals with alleged links to terrorist groups. Now, the men are being held in solitary as a dumping ground, raising serious concerns about security in the region. We're joined live by the Swaziland Solidarity Network spokesperson, Lucky Lukhele, to discuss the reaction in eSwatini. Lucky, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on Africa Update.
Good afternoon to you and also to the listeners at home.
Now, Lucky, what specific concerns has the Swaziland Solidarity Network raised about this whole arrangement, or whole agreement of the U.S. deporting convicted criminals to eSwatini, especially looking at the characterization of these individuals as having alleged links to terrorist groups?
Well, as the Solidarity Network, we were shocked, but at the same time, somehow not surprised by this arrangement. This arrangement marks of a gangster kind of a deal by two leaders that have a brain of a rat. So clearly, someone has received money from someone. In this case, King Mswati is the receiver. Now, what angers many Swazis and Africans in particular, this marks of racism from Donald Trump. Not long ago, he insulted the people of South Africa, saying there's white genocide, and then offered those people who have failed in life in South Africa some refugee status in America. These people committed crime in America, and they should be serving sentences in America, not to dump them in Swaziland. Clearly, he's saying in their own statement, the American government publicly stated that these people are so uniquely barbaric such that their own countries of origins have refused them. Yet he sees it fit to dump them in Africa and in Swaziland in particular. On the other hand, the king contradicted himself by accepting these criminals, in a sense that 3 weeks ago, in his address to the nation, as he was addressing the nation on Correctional Services Day, he publicly stated that the prisons in Swaziland are so overcrowded that he's putting up a team of advisors to help him select those that can be given mercy or release on mercy by him. Now, boom, he accepts these criminals. Hence, we call it a gangster deal.
Now, what are your concerns about the capacity? Okay, you've just highlighted that the prisons are full. But now, in terms of the structural, capacity of the prisons themselves, where do you know where they are? Are they in just a normal prison population? Are they in CMAX? Are they in isolation? Do you have any details with regards to exactly how they are being housed there?
The only information that we have is that they are currently in Matsapa maximum prison, as per the information from government. But again, you will remember that, for instance, one of the criminals has been sentenced to 20 years in prison by the American justice system. Now, we don't know how long has he already served his sentence in America. As we know it, a year in jail, especially the Swaziland system together with the South African, it's 8 months. So sooner or later, these criminals will be roaming the street. If they are released, where will they go to? Even if the prison can be as strong as we may wish, if they are released, it means no one is safe. If you are in South Africa, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, or anywhere in the SADC region immediately, no one is safe. These criminals can come and cause havoc. And our biggest worry is that even those that are currently serving sentences in Swaziland, who are Swazis, may get some bad influence from these people to a point that whatever measures that are being done to correct them, they actually may come out as hardcore criminals learning from these Donald Trump friends and hyenas as criminals.
Lucky, what is Swaziland Solidarity Network? What steps have you taken in terms of demanding for accountability and just public consultation? Take us through your process now and what you're going to be doing going forward.
Well, we are calling to all those neighboring countries, mainly Mozambique and South Africa, to be the first one to show some leadership in seriously rejecting this thing and saying to Swaziland, if you do not send back these people, we are closing our borders, we are sanctioning you. Just that threat alone, King Mswati will definitely succumb to pressure, because without South Africa, for instance, Swaziland is nothing. So another thing is to mobilize the Trachea in the SADC region, also to take a strong exception in this thing, because it is an insult. Many African countries have refused to accept these people, and we applaud those leaders. However, King Mswati, by accepting these people, has really insulted the entire African population as a whole. So he needs to be called into order, as he is out of order.
And say South Africa and Mozambique just are not interested to engage on this particular issue, what then?
Well, the citizens coming from Swaziland up to the last border in the continent, they must stand up and reject these people. In actual fact, what the people of Swaziland are saying to Donald Trump, they are offering King Mswati, in addition of these criminals, to say he can accommodate him and take him with these people if he's so much in love with him, and offer him a bedroom in one of his many properties. And as a seasoned golfer, the king himself, they can enjoy each other's company in America, not in Africa. This is a worst insult, in actual fact, to the people of Swaziland.
Lucky, eSwatini is known to have prisons that are quite extreme in terms of taking care of prisoners, as it is alleged in media. But how does your organization view the potential risks to the deportees themselves, particularly, with reports about how harsh prison conditions are in eSwatini and just the lack of due process?
Well, the painful part of it, there are many prisoners in Swaziland, and some of them are innocent political prisoners that are being held without a trial in Swaziland, including former MPs, which are still languishing in prison without food. Sometimes a day goes by with just one meal a day. We don't know what will happen. But to be honest, these 5 criminals, we care less about them. All what we are worried about are the welfare of those people that are currently in prison, innocent, and those that are serving sentences. Some of them, for instance, are serving longer sentences just for merely hunting a springbok or a small animal within the game parks for food. Now, you can't then keep such people in prison, because the very same conditions that are in prison for are self-made by the king. And this money that Donald Trump will give the king definitely will not even go to the prison. It means the king will then cut budget from the health system, which has already collapsed due to neglect by the very same government. So therefore, many problems. You remember that one longer-serving prisoner who was released on his deathbed, Amos Mbenze, a South African. He had to die just after a few months after his release in prison, because the Swaziland government couldn't even send him to hospital or get him medication. So you can imagine, of those thousands that are in Swaziland as we speak, the crisis is huge.
Yeah, well, Lucky, we have run out of time and are going to leave it there for today. Thank you for joining us on Africa Update. That's Swaziland Solidarity Network spokesperson Lucky Lukhele joining us on the line. And we say happy Thursday and hello to Lucky Lukhele of The Upside. How are you today?
Happy Thursday to you, Lulu. I'm good. That conversation about the prisoners.
Yeah, the US, the deported prisoners in eSwatini now.
I know when it happened, initially, social media went crazy. Like, what's going to happen to the prisoners? And a lot of South Africans are like, they're going to end up in South Africa.
This is what he's saying. This is what he's saying. And he's calling on South Africa and Mozambique, to say something, do something. With regards to these people, because as he put it, a year in prison in Eswatini equals to 8 months. So they could end up being released and either in Eswatini or either in Mozambique or South Africa, because these are the nearest borders. So it's something that hopefully we'll be able to continue and just get updates from South African government and how they feel, and Mozambique as well. It will be interesting to find out.
We continue that conversation because on the upside this afternoon we talk about the psychology behind being behind behind bars. We talk about the psychology of prisoners and what they go through on a typical day, their mental state, and then rehabilitation, getting back into society when they do get released, what challenges that they may experience. And then we get into conversation with someone who was in prison and is now back into society, the challenges that they went through, trying to find a job, trying to just readjust and live a normal life. And then later on, we talk about the 100% Design Africa, which will be taking place at the Decorex this weekend at the Sandton Convention Center. Don't miss the Hub and Speed Arts Trust stand, where there will be ceramic art displayed by over 18 South African artists. And in our final conversation, we find out how can you tell the difference between a real and a fake product when it comes to luxury items.
Ooh, something to look forward to coming up at the top of the hour on the upside with Matsiko Musito and Lucky Lukhele. And from the Africa Update team, it's been a good one. Let's do this again tomorrow. Continue with us on our social media platforms. Bye-bye.